Welcome back to the Immigration Answers Show. It's your buddy Jim Hacking coming to you live. This is episode number 410, the 410th time that we've gotten together to talk about the American immigration process. I will be here for the next hour answering as many of your immigration law-related questions as possible. Listen, my people, today's Tuesday, our first show of the week. If your name is not Shabazz, please go ahead and leave us a comment down below. Let us know where you're watching from. Of course, we love Shabazz, and we love to hear from him too. But go ahead and let us know in the comments where you're watching from. Tyrone is right. It's a beautiful day the Lord has blessed us with. How are you all doing? Welcome back to our friendly immigration show. Thank you, Tyrone. We got Alejandra is in Chicago. I just came back. Hi's in Coppell, Texas. I don't even know where that is. Elena's in Brooklyn. Abel is in Richmond, Virginia. Christine sends blessings. Nurse Laura's checking in from Seattle. I think this is like the 2 weeks of the year where Seattle is nice. I hear they've had some nice weather. Ola de Pupu is in New York. Yasmina is here in St. Louis. Well, hello, Yasmina. How you doing? Like I said, I'll be here for the next hour answering all of your questions. We're going to do a full set of shows this week, probably 4 shows. Tomorrow's show, 4 p.m. Central, for those of you who are interested. Shot some new videos today, and I want to start off with a question that I tried to answer in the third video that I made today, and I'd love to hear your comments. What percentage of marriage-based green card cases do you think in your heart of hearts that USCIS receives are real versus fake? What percentage do you think are fake? I've been seeing a lot of comments. And by the way, I don't know if anybody's noticed, but I've really been trying to, thanks everybody for letting us know where you're watching from. That really makes me happy to see all around the world where people are. But I really have been responding to all the comments, and we're getting lots of comments, people complaining about how they're getting taken advantage of. And I made a video, spoiler alert, I made a video. Vadim says 50-50. What the heck? Dude, I think that 95% of green card cases that USCIS gets are real. 95%. I mean, you guys, now the criminals and the fraudsters, 40% fake, 60% real, Fiona says. 75% fake, Dawn says. Oh, my people, my people. Oh, maybe I am naive, right? But man, like, okay, so you guys don't know this, but there was a little window of time where somebody worked for our law firm who I really liked. They were a really good lawyer, a really good person. And I still like them, and they're still a really, really good person. They had worked for the Office of Chief Counsel, which is the attorneys that work for the Department of Justice that try to deport people. She had worked there for a couple of years. Yeah, NA is saying 2% fake. And Glenn says fake 3 to 10%. Raphael, 88% real. Anyway, this attorney, she was moving to St. Louis, and she came to work for us. Oh, boy, I liked her a lot. I wish she would have stayed. But in any event, early on when she came, somebody came in and told us a story. And she said, oh, that story is totally bogus. I don't believe a word they said. And I was like, what? What? Like, I bought the whole thing. I believe the whole thing. Like, I always believe everybody, right? Until proven otherwise, I believe everybody. So maybe I'm a little bit too trusting, but man, I'll tell you, people. So we're getting lots of comments from people who got scammed, who got taken advantage of by some immigrant who got their benefit and skedaddled, right? So I understand the frustration, but man. And maybe it would be great if we had some immigration officers on to talk to about these things. And I do have some friends I could ask. Maybe I'll ask next time I'm at immigration downtown in St. Louis. I'll ask, because they think every case is fake, right? They just assume every case is fake. Now my man Vadim's right there with him. He says it's 50-50. Vadim says 50-50. But even just paying attention to the people that call the show, there's some people that have some screwy ideas and things. And maybe some relationships that are, shall we say, convenient. But at the end of the day, I think most of the cases we handle, that's one of the things I said in the video, is that people think that you only hire an immigration lawyer to file a fake case. Okay, Maggie is changing. Maggie is reversing herself. She said, now she says 60% real, 40% fake. Before she said 40% fake. See, I'm making progress. I'm making progress with Maggie. All right, let's get this thing started and let's talk to Den. What do you say, Den?
Hey, Jim. So I starting off with a hypothetical question here. If somebody with an open I-130 application were to come to the U.S. on a valid ESTA and overstayed, as the ESTA would expire sometime this year, what would be the possible avenues as they're waiting for the I-130 decision? In this circumstance, like the applicant is a U.S. citizen, so what would be the repercussions and how would they go about consular processing?
So let's just make it all clear. So I have a U.S. citizen in the United States. I have a foreign national who comes to the United States on ESTA. At the time that they come, there's a pending I-130 because they are married to a U.S. citizen.
Mhm.
They come for 90 days. They hang out for 6 months. 6 months?
Yeah,
And have they gone back to the home country, or are they still in the United States?
still in the United States.
So is the I-130, has the I-130 been approved?
No, not yet. It's still pending.
Well, then what I would do is, as long as they didn't have the intent to apply for a green card when they came on the 90 days, and now we're well past the initial 60 days look back, I would file an I-485 right now, and I would include the I-130 receipt notice. I probably want to have a lawyer help with this, but I would include they can do it all here. They don't have to go back home and consular process, and
Okay.
they probably shouldn't. Now, if they're more than 6 months overstay, they definitely shouldn't go back because they have a 3-year bar. So that's something most people don't understand. So let's say hypothetically that they overstay. So they got 90 days in the United States and they waited a year and a half. A year and a half later, they could apply for a green card, get their green card, and stay and not have any problems. But if they said, "Oh, I need a consular process," and they leave overseas, then they have a 10-year bar because they overstayed by a year. Like I had this exact scenario. So one time, this is a little bit similar. Let me try to explain it to you. So one time, I had this doctor, and the doctor had filed an I-130, sort of like your hypothetical, an I-130 for mom. Mom came to the United States on a visa and overstayed. And so Sonny Boy could have filed a 45 for mom and done it all here in the United States. But their case had already been approved by USCIS, had been at the National Visa Center, and they were just waiting for the embassy. Well, about 4 months after she overstayed, after her overstay began, which is still the time where she could be forgiven. If it's under 6 months, it's forgiven. I mean, sort of forgiven. It's not a bar. At the 4 month mark, they get a notice saying, "Hey, it's time for your visa interview over here in Jordan." Now, this doctor, he's so heavy, he's like, "Oh, I'm too busy. I'm not taking my mom over there now. We'll do it later." So it gets rolled 5 months, and now she's in that window between 6 months and a year, which is the 3-year bar. So Mr. Smarty Pants doctor takes mom over there, and they said, "Boy, we'd really like to give you your visa, but you have a 3-year bar now." And he's scratching his head because he's thought he knew everything because he's a doctor, and he didn't, and he's dumb, and we had to try to fix it. So, in answer to your question, your hypothetical person is probably a lot better off filing for adjustment here in the United States, as long as they hadn't sold all their earthly possessions and are going to have a big misrepresentation problem on how they entered the United States. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Awesome. All right. Thank you.
Bye, Den. See you, buddy.
See
All right, all right. Let's say hi to Hannah. Hello, Hannah.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Amazing. So, my question is I'm the petitioner for my husband who's a Mexican citizen, and we're kind of stuck in our case in the sense of we paid both of our fees, the AOS fee and the applicant fee.
The
And
immigrant visa fee and the affidavit of support fee. Mm-hmm.
yeah, what you have to do right before you upload your documents.
Mm-hmm.
However, that was a month ago, and it's kind of like the website glitched, and it came out of my bank account. My paralegal can see that she received the payment. However, on the website, it's now saying that the AOS fee is in process. So it feels like a glitch because at first it said it was approved, and now it's saying it's in process. And we've tried to, she submitted 2 direct inquiries with no success. I've also submitted 2 with no response at all. And so our attorney has sent an email, but they're not very confident about that because the person that the email goes to apparently isn't who can actually help us. If that makes sense. So I don't know if you're like able to like actually answer a question, but I'm just like, we're stuck and like we just literally don't know what to do because there's no phone number, no direct email address for me to contact, no letter, with a mailing address or something.
I'm not particularly worried about it. 30 days is right about when those kinds of, I don't think it's a glitch. We've seen that before. I think it's just a matter of them processing it. I don't think you need to worry. I would say if another 2 weeks go by, then I'd start worrying and I'd start bothering them every single day. I don't have any magical email addresses or phone numbers. I don't think you need to worry just right now. I think that they're just incompetent and the online portal is not always right. But if the money cleared your account, I think that's the best thing. So as of right now, you can't get started on the DS-260 and all that stuff.
Exactly. So, and I mean, what I've been told by the attorneys there and the paralegals there is that it literally takes like 1 to 3 business days to process the payments so that you can upload the documents. And I don't know if that's like what you've experienced, but that's why we're a little bit like, okay, we don't really know what to do because but well, if you're saying though that it takes like around this amount of time, then that's like one thing. But
I didn't say it always does. I've seen it take that long. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And it's just weird because even when I did the payment, the website said like, sorry, we're having a problem. So I logged back out and logged back in. And then it said both of them were in process. Then by the next day on Friday, it said you're good. And then on that Monday, it was like, just kidding. One of them's good. And the other one's like back in process. It's just really weird.
It sounds like them. I mean, to me, the big thing is that both payments cleared your bank account. That's the most important thing, I think.
Yeah. Okay. So you just think stick it out for a couple more weeks and
I'd
see?
say 2 more weeks.
And then after that, just like start sending inquiries every day or fun. Okay.
And this might be one of the times, usually I'm not a big fan of notifying your member of Congress, but this is a small, discreet thing that they might be able to get a hold of someone there to help you.
Okay.
And you might even start that now.
I actually did that yesterday.
Yeah. So
Not that I'm like panicking or anything, but I'm just like
fine. You're doing fine. I think you're doing everything possible that you can do.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Bye, Hannah. See ya.
Bye.
Hey, everybody. If you haven't already, 2 things. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from. And let us know, I floated the idea, do you think that most marriages that involve immigration benefits, i.e. green card marriages, do you think most of those are real or fake? I tend to think 95% are real, but the comments so far, most people do not believe me, which I guess is why people watch the show. They want to try to figure out who's lying about stuff. But like Hannah was just here. Obviously, she's in love. She's just trying to get her husband his damn visa. We have every reason to believe her. I think that we just have to. I think we have to be the opposite of those guys at immigration, where they just assume everybody's lying to them. So, all right, Case is here. What do you say, Case?
Alaikum, Jim. How are you?
Walaikum salam. I'm great, man. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing great. Can I turn off the camera or you take me off?
I got you off. You're
Thank
good to
you
go.
so much. Thank you. I will try to be short. So I got married in February 2023. I applied in May 12th, and I got my green card on July.
Nice.
Yep. But not every story is happy. A few days ago, I discovered that my spouse is cheating on me.
Yep.
And I took pictures of the conversations, and it's extremely cheating. Like they're hooking up and stuff like that. And she's a Muslim as me. I'm a Muslim. And I know this is unacceptable in any religion, but for us, it's we cannot tolerate these things. So actually, my question for you: how that gonna affect me if I got divorced? I didn't tell her. I didn't face her yet with cheating. She don't know that I know. How is that gonna affect me when I'm removing the conditions if we got divorced and I just received my green card a while ago?
It's a great question. I need to make a video about this. Okay, so I'm sorry that happened. I'm sorry that you're going through this. That really sucks. I've seen it before, actually. Now, Here's the thing. You're asking one of the right questions. One of the right questions is, how is this going to affect my 751? It's obviously good that you have the proof and that you've kept the proof and you make sure you put the proof somewhere safe. You're going to want to keeping proof as you make whatever decisions you make, right? But then, and so you're going to have to, if things fall apart now, which it sounds like they're going to, you're going to have very little evidence after the green card was approved. So that is a problem. The fact that you have very little evidence. Number two, if Trump gets reelected, they're going to be so pissed about the fact that USCIS was giving out green cards so quickly. They're gonna hold your case up to an even higher position because they want to make an example of people who got their green cards too fast and say, this is why we needed all these fraud things that Biden came in and took out, right? So that's a problem. But the biggest problem of all is something that we haven't even spoken about yet. And that is when the U.S. citizen cheats, when the U.S. citizen is having some other relationship and you're the victim, do you know how USCIS handles that case?
How do they do that?
They say, oh, that's proof that this marriage was never real. That was their real lover the whole time, and Case only got married in order to get a green card. So they actually, there's an expression in English, I don't know if they have it in Arabic, it's called to add insult to injury. So you're the victim, and they pile it on you to say, oh, well, we're not even sure this is a real marriage. So I sure hope that you had lots of evidence to prove up the marriage at the beginning, that you maintain whatever evidence you can between now and whenever you have your fight about her infidelity, and then document all that, because you're going to have a lot to prove when the time comes.
All right. Yeah, what you're saying is right in general, but I want to get you more in details in my situation.
Sure.
My spouse is, unfortunately, she abused drugs. We have been trying to help her, me and her family, and I have a text messages between me and her brother and her father trying to convince her to go to rehab and this stuff. And that's what we're trying to do with her right now. The problem is, Jim, when she's cheating on me, she's not cheating on me. I didn't catch conversation for one guy. There are two dudes, and they're hooking up with the two dudes. One of them is ex, and the other one is a guy with, like, I don't want to get too much in details. He have kids and a lot of going on, and she's still telling him, oh, my sorry husband came over. I'm sorry I can't talk to you now. Can I, I don't want to. So.
Right. But see, here's the problem. So before I did immigration, I used to represent these barge companies. And barge companies, they ship stuff up and down the river. And the guys that work on the river are called deckhands. And these deckhands would always come from like bad neighborhoods, or they were rough and tumble guys. Some of them had criminal records. And when those guys would get injured, they would sue the company, and my job was to defend the company. Well, one of the things that companies always like to do is to badmouth the injured guy, even though they're the ones that hired him. So all that stuff about her being a cheat, her going back to her ex, her being on drugs, that actually hurts you, because those are the kind of people that would have an incentive to take money to enter into a fake marriage. So this is one of those things that people think, people don't understand why it's important to work with an immigration lawyer. This is exactly why, because people don't even know how to think like USCIS. Does that make sense? They don't even know how to think like USCIS. So it's such an upside down thing. It's something no normal human being would do. It's something no one, most regular people would feel sorry for you, but for them, they say, aha, you never should have got that green card in the first place, because she was really still with her ex, and she was just helping you out to get a green card so that she could probably go buy some drugs.
Yeah, that's right. But I think if I'm in two positions right now: to divorce because of the betrayal, and if I wait, also it's not a good decision, right?
I don't want you to wait. I want you to live your life and know that you're going to have to handle this later on. I mean, to me, really, the best thing you said, the smartest thing you said, and the strongest thing you said, do you know what it was?
Yeah. What is it?
That her family is on your side, or at least
Exactly.
they're on your side when it comes to trying to clean her up. So I think this is winnable. You can get a 10-year green card. You can stay in the United States, but it's going to be a long process, and there's going to be a lot that has to get done between now and then to make that happen.
I get that. So I have another question. If a divorce happened, the process is to tell the USCIS right away, or when the divorce is final?
You already have your green card, so you don't have to tell them now. One of the interesting things is you can file for removal of conditions when the divorce is final. You don't have to wait the 2 years. Now, most people just go ahead and wait the 2 years because they want to get the most out of their green card at least, and then see what happens. Maybe they can develop more evidence. Maybe something happens. So you could file as soon as the divorce is final, but most people don't. They just wait for that 90-day window before the 2-year anniversary.
What do you think? What is better?
I mean, I'm not your lawyer, so I don't know, but generally I would wait.
You would wait until the 9-month window?
The 90-day window, yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Last question, Jim, and thank you. If
Sure.
when a divorce happened and I have still my green card and I still have a long time until the 9 months window, will I have any problem if I traveled outside of the United States?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Last thing, what the consequences? I just want to know the legal consequences. Like, what is it called if I know she is cheating and I just waited just to make more evidence? I didn't face her yet, and I then apply.
I don't want you to do that. I would advise against it. I don't know that there's a legal term for it, but it gets close to fraud or living your life for immigration benefits, and I don't advise that.
All right. Thank you so much, Jim. That's all I wanted to know.
Sorry, man. Sorry you're going through that.
It's
all right. Hey, we got some good news after that sad news. Poor Case. We feel sorry for him. Dawn, MFC got the green card yesterday. Congratulations. That's good news. Good news. We always like to hear good news. Now here we go. A says, I think 90% of marriage-based green cards are commercial marriages, meaning fake. Oh, come on. That's just not even realistic. Now, maybe I'm at the other end of the spectrum, but I don't think 90%. Let's see what Mel has to say. Hello, Mel.
Hey, Jim. How you doing?
I'm good, buddy. How you doing?
Doing well. I'm finally calling not about myself because my thing is done.
Okay. That's okay.
Yeah, it's time to ask for my friends. So I have 2 people that I just want to ask a quick question. I'll give you their situation. My friend, he's a resident of Azerbaijan,
Mm-hmm.
and he basically the F1 OPT overstayed the OPT I think 60 days, and he's residing also in St. Louis, and then he got caught by ICE. They came to his house, took him to Kansas, and when you come there to immigration, they give you 2 options, like, hey, you want to apply for asylum or you want to see the judge. So he decided to click on the I want to see the judge. So bail was paid, he went out, and the date kept pushing back and back to see the judge. And in the meantime, he got married in 2021.
Awesome.
I-130 was approved in like less than a year, but
Okay.
I-485 was not. And it's still pending. It's been 600 days right now, still pending. So my question is, because looking at the show and stuff like that, he says that his lawyer is telling him that USCIS will not notify you or me unless this immigration thing is resolved with the judge. Is that true?
Well, my question is, so the 485 was filed after he was already under the jurisdiction of the immigration judge?
Correct. Yeah. So like I-130 and all that stuff was filed like 2 years later.
Right. But did he file the 45 with USCIS or with the immigration court?
USCIS.
Yeah, that's not right. That was wrong.
Okay.
So what happened? So, in a typical case, you file the I-130 and the 485 together with USCIS. But if someone is in removal, then they have to file the I-130 with USCIS and then the 485 with the immigration court.
So when the ICE takes you, is that considered you're in the removal process?
When he's asked to see the judge, he's in removal.
Got you. Okay, so
that's why nothing's happening on the 485, because there's some clickety click on the box that says his file's really over at EOIR, the court, and we can't decide it. Now there's things he can do. What you said is right. He should go to the immigration court and ask the judge to terminate proceedings. That's the
How
important.
can he go? Like he says his lawyer. You know what's funny? We were just discussing with him and like debating like how, because I was like, I watch Jim, I know.
Yeah.
He's like, my lawyer sent a motion letter, and he said we just have to wait. But it's been like 7 months, and he has a kid coming. Everything, all that stuff. There's no doubt about him getting a green card. But the thing is, like those motions and stuff like that, like, or do they work, or he should literally just go to the court himself?
No, he
like,
can't go to the court. No, his lawyer has to figure out a way. In my experience, the Office of Chief Counsel in Kansas City is very receptive and very easy.
He's a very bad guy. I know that. I know I've heard.
No, that's not what I'm saying. No, they're very when Biden comes in, their marching orders are get every proceeding terminated as fast as possible. So the attorney just needs to start bothering them until he gets someone who can decide. There's a duty attorney. They should be able to get this on a calendar or get it decided.
It can be sped up, basically.
But he's got to keep bothering.
But the thing is, it's been like going on right now 5 months that he's sent that motion, and I told him like there must be a way to speed this up. You cannot just sit and wait for it. I would assume so.
Yeah.
Okay, so and why his case is in Texas Service Center, because he's from St. Louis. I would assume it will go to Kansas, but everything is Texas Service Center.
So that tells me that maybe they did it right. His green card case might have filed it with the immigration court, because then it would go to Mesquite, Texas. So it could be that his green card case is in the immigration court, but either way, because the judge, he's not going to get a court date for adjustment from the judge for 3 years. So he needs to terminate proceedings so he can adjust at USCIS. And that did he put in the motion about the kid? Is that in the motion?
No, I don't. I don't know about that. But they just told me, talking to his wife and stuff like that, like, oh, we filed the motion, and the lawyer is just saying we have to wait till it terminates. But the date for the court is 24th of May next year.
Yeah, so he doesn't really want to wait that long if he can avoid it.
No,
Mel, do you have my email address, Mel?
No, I do not have your personal email.
Do you get emails from our office?
Yeah, I do have everything.
Well, the ones that come on Sunday, that just say this. I need to know the name of the attorney. I don't want you to say it on the show. I want you to tell me the name of the attorney, and I'll tell you whether they know what they're doing. Yeah.
And the second one will be. I'm sorry if I'm taking up some time.
You're fine.
My friend, also from Azerbaijan, they're also based here in St. Louis. 2015 ICE took them, and they did apply for asylum. So whenever they did that, Jim, it's such a messed up case. The wife got everything, like the working permit, but the husband waited 3 years to get a working permit.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is, I think, to my understanding, I think they had an interview in an asylum office. Or no, if you get caught by immigration, do you immediately go to the court, or you have chance to go to asylum office?
No, you miss that chance for the asylum office. If you don't file affirmatively, you only have one shot.
Fourth kid is born here. Now fourth kid.
Yeah.
And what are their chances? Because I know court is not a good thing. Court is 90% a no. What are the chances of them saying yes? Or like, I want him to refer it to you, because he has some lawyer that is not knowing what is he talking about. And I was like, I guess you guys can make the case a lot stronger to prepare
we don't do asylum in immigration court.
Oh yeah, sorry. I forgot about that. So what do you think an outcome of that might be, and what it will be one of your advices that I can just hey, I
have no idea. I don't know what the basis of the asylum is. I have no idea. I mean, asylum's hard, especially for men.
I agree with you. It's just I cannot go back home because, the Azerbaijan, the ruling powers over there is like opposing power. So they were in opposing of the president or whatever it's called.
Well, I'll look at anything. So if you want to tell me, have him send me something, I'm happy to look at it.
Yeah, because I think it's definitely worth it because, whole family, everybody here, nobody wants to go back after so many years, 11 years being here. So I think that should be a plus. And I will let you know about I will send an email about my other friend. So I think that's good news. He can search it. Thank you.
See you, man. All right, that was our old friend Mel. Mel was here. Hey, it's the bottom of the hour. Just a reminder, this is episode number 410 of the Immigration Answer Show. My name is Jim Hacking. I'm an immigration lawyer, and we have offices in St. Louis, San Diego, and Washington, D.C. I'm going to be here for another 31 minutes, answering as many immigration law-related questions as I can. I hope you all are doing well. If you could let me know where you're watching from, we would really like that. And I really like this comment, and maybe this explains some of the disconnect I'm having. And this is A, who said most marriage cases are fake. Jim, I believe that marriage cases, green card cases submitted by you are 100% real, because when people ask about asylum or fake stuff, you always cut them off. But fake marriage-based green card is a big business. You know, I don't know about you guys. I really like watching shows and movies about scammers. I always like to understand scammers. Whenever the Department of Justice puts out a new press release about some immigration scam, I'm always reading it, because I always get interested by people that don't follow the rules. And I read way too many crime novels and watch every show I watch is about cops and lawyers. It's really sort of a sickness. So I always like to hear about people running scams. But that's right. I do tend to cut people off, and you know, maybe I scare away people that run scams, and maybe that gives me a false sense of what the reality is. I'm going to talk to some of my immigration. And actually, you know what? That's a great idea. I'm going to put a survey out on the Slack channel here at the office. I want to hear what the attorneys have to say, and they'll probably say something similar. I don't know about the Catfish show, Laura, but I loved the show, The Dropout, about Elizabeth Holmes. I watched Dope Sick, which wasn't really about scam other than that horrible pharmaceutical company. I love things where people are sort of getting away with shit for a while, and then I love to see them get what they deserve. Maybe that's why I like suing USCIS so much, because I like to see them get what they deserve. NA says they've reached out to our office but haven't heard back. Hooli can check on that. I hope Hooli will check on that one for me. I'm going to get back to the calls. Let's say hi to Pal. Pal's been waving. What's up, Pal?
Hey, Jim. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Hello.
I'm great. Go ahead, Pal.
Awesome. Can I turn off my cam, please?
Yeah, no one can see you anyway, but I'll it's just my pretty face.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I recently got my green card, and it's the 2-year green card, and my parents are planning to visit the US relatively soon, maybe in December. They have B1, B2 visas. Will they have a problem at the CBP now that I have a green card?
I don't think so.
Okay. And the other question is, when in my I-485, when I submitted it, so I had 2 speeding tickets, both, and the instructions said to disclose, provide supporting documentation if the speeding tickets exceeded $500 for me, which they did not. I did say yes to citations because of the speeding tickets and all that. Are the speeding tickets going to be a potential problem for the 751?
They won't be a problem at all on 751. They don't even ask about citations on 751s. It'll be citizenship where that'll come up, but no, those shouldn't be a problem.
Okay, so so it won't be a problem at citizenship. Okay, I got you. I think those are my only questions. I was just worried if my parents came, like CBP would be like, "Oh, your son has a green card now. You can't come in," or pull something like that. I didn't know the details of that.
Yeah, I think that would be more of an issue at the embassy if they didn't already have their visas. That's one thing. I also think it might be an issue with CBP. They're not that clever to think that your parents would come here and hang out until they become citizens. But when you become a citizen, it might be a little bit more difficult. But the big shooting match is having the ticket, having the visa. The chances of getting in trouble with CBP, as long as they're not dragging all their earthly possessions along behind them, they should be fine.
Okay, that makes sense. I'll not take more of your time. I know your time is really valuable, and my wife and I watch your show all the time. We're real big fans. So
Awesome.
thank you
Well,
for
thanks
everything
for
you
coming
do.
on.
I think we've spoken like multiple times now, but really, thank you.
You got it, man. Thanks. Oh, we always like it when people say thank you. Now, listen, no complaining in the waiting room about not being able to get your questions answered in the text. The rule here is no bitching in the waiting room. No bitching in the waiting room. Hooli's looking up NA to make sure whether we can find them in the comments. I forgot to ask. Cooley reminded me. Oh, by the way, they told me that I'm using up 25% of the internet bandwidth in the whole office with my show. So I was getting chided today. They might be getting a dedicated fiber optics line for my show. We're going to build a new studio downstairs in the next 6 months. So we'll probably do it then. But it might eliminate our squirrel problem. So there's that. Listen, we're over 315 people watching the show. That's great to see. Listen, if you guys have a minute, 60 seconds, 30 seconds, it would mean the world to me if you could take just a few seconds and leave us a 5-star review on the Google. That would be great. Also, for some reason, people hate us on Yelp. So I hate Yelp and Yelp hates me. But if you guys want to leave us a review on Yelp, maybe we need to get a link for that, Hooli. Maybe tomorrow we'll have a link for Yelp because we're getting a lot of hate on Yelp. I don't know what the hell. I think people just complain on Yelp. The other day we got a 1-star review from some guy on Google, and my team looked it up. He has 20 Google reviews, and they're all 1-star reviews. So all he does is use it to complain. But we know you guys aren't like that. So if you got a minute, leave us a 5-star review. Thanks so much. Okay, and NA has identified who they are. A law student is here. Hello, law student.
Hi.
Anime law student.
Thank you, Jim, so much. I'm actually coming to law school in St. Louis. I just traveled from India on my F1. So my question is like not an immigration question really, but more of one is a visa or like a documents related question. So in India, like if I have to change my gender marker legally, like the passport that I'd be given would be a T marker. Unless I get a surgery, I can't shift from M to F. I can only get a T, which is I think the equivalent of a X in the US. So if I get a T, or if let's say I just leave it as M in my passport, can I change my Missouri documents or any other US local documents to F, or should I just keep it as M everywhere and like play it safe until I get a F on my Indian passport? And
I hate to say it, but you picked one of the worst places in America to live as someone who's considering changing their gender.
okay.
The worst. Like Missouri is as backwards and hateful as can be. Like the legislators are always doing everything they can to make life harder on transgender people. Like they literally, like one person will sponsor a bill and it'll be all mean. Then someone else will say, that bill's not mean enough. I'm going to sponsor something else. Now, St. Louis isn't like that.
Okay, that's sad.
It is sad, and I'm sorry. But St. Louis, I mean, I have friends. I have a friend who has a child who transitioned, and they're actively thinking about moving out of this state because it's so hateful. Now, you won't have any problems in St. Louis, but I certainly, for lots of reasons, if you can avoid it, I would avoid messing around with your official documents until later on in your immigration journey. I certainly wouldn't waste any time in Missouri, which is what we say about Missouri. That's how people say it down in Jeff City. Yeah. Nurse Laura says, come to the West Coast. It's going to be so I would just hang out here, go to law school, get a great degree, get a job, go to a nice city, a nice blue state, and then take care of it then, or take care of it when you become a citizen, right? If you can. So I'm not telling you, and I want to make it clear, I'm not trying to tell you not to be who you are, right? That's not this at all. This is just about things are going to get really complicated from an immigration standpoint if you start. Now, the Biden people did issue a reg about 4 months ago saying that they're more willing to do that, but that's just a regulation. It's not law, and of course, it wouldn't apply to states either. So, for all those reasons, if you can, and if you're okay with it, I would try to just go slow on that.
Okay. Makes sense. And my second question is, I could qualify as a lawyer in India, have that option with me. And would that help anything? Like if I'm looking for internships, OPT, and especially immigration law, I heard someone say that if I was a lawyer in India, that would allow me to do certain things that I can't otherwise do. Like I'm doing the JD, by the way, so I'm not doing an LLM or.
Yeah, good. Well, so this is Jim as law firm owner. Jim, are you really going to look at somebody differently in sponsorship for an H-1B or OPT? I mean, it would help. It would help with an H-1B, not so much with whether we would want to hire you or not, but more so, I think, with any application for an H-1B. That's something that would be helpful. We've had a few law clerks that we hired that were lawyers in their home country, and I think it does help.
Okay.
Now, if it's a bunch of extra work and you're already getting ready to start law school, I would just focus on that.
Okay. I think I can do it even like 2 years, 3 years down the line. So that's not a problem.
Well, good luck. If you need anything, we're in the same town, so happy to help.
Yeah. So I'll drop by sometime or just say hi.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for answering. I've been a long time follower of your show.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Rengar is here. What do you say, Rengar?
Hey, Jim. Thank you for having me.
Sure.
So I'm calling on behalf of my kitty right here.
She's not being deported, is she?
No, but he has been a little troublesome. He used to be an F1 student.
Yeah.
And he overstayed and worked a little bit after he overstayed.
Mhm.
And well, the main reason why he overstayed is because he was in love. And for a while, built a very awesome relationship and got married eventually. So now he's applying for an adjustment of status, and the package is in and everything's good. So just a couple questions.
Is his spouse a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay.
Yes. And oh, there he goes. Not very interested. But anyways, yeah, he was wondering if number one, the overstay and the work, would that hurt his case? And number two, he was a little naughty in college and he got a couple charges for underage drinking. In the state of Minnesota, that's considered a petty misdemeanor, so there was never an arrest or a court date or anything like that. And it was obviously disclosed to USCIS, and tickets were paid, and that's it. That's as far as it went.
Rengar, I'm not worried about any of this stuff. The spouse is a U.S. citizen, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
Yeah, so I'm not worried about. I mean, as long as it's all disclosed, this will all be forgiven. Now, I will say that if you took the cat's case and put it up against someone who didn't work without permission, who didn't overstay their visa, and who didn't have, Minnesota minor criminal stuff, if you put those two cases side by side, one's going to go faster and one's less likely to have an interview, right? But I still think it's certainly approvable and everything should be fine.
Perfect. So with that said, a couple questions. He did receive an RFE to check all his kitty vaccines and stuff, but everything, it was just an RFE for medical, and it came from the National Benefit Center. So my question is, I've heard that could be a good sign. And
I think it is a good sign. He probably won't, and the cat probably won't have an interview.
Oh, that's wonderful. And then last question, will the NBC, after sending the request for evidence for the medical, will they still transfer the case to the St. Paul field office, which I've heard is horrible, or do you think it could actually be approved at the NBC?
The Minnesota field office isn't bad. I've been there.
Okay.
We've had a lot of cases there, and I don't think you need to worry about it. And I think it could go either way. We've seen it both ways. We've seen the benefit center approve things. Usually it gets approved at the field level.
Okay, perfect. Well, that's awesome.
Great.
He'll be very excited to hear all of this.
Thanks.
Yeah, of course.
Well, that was fun. We haven't had a cat visitor in a while, so we're always happy for our feline friends to visit the show. And somebody said it reminded them of Peppa and Beto, our friends, our other friends, our feline friends from South America. Lee's been waiting for a while. What do you say, Lee? There's another cat. You're on mute, Lee. I got you off camera, but
Hi,
you're
can
on.
you hear me?
Go ahead.
Okay, Jim. So I'm working on a marriage-based case. Um, the petition, which is my husband, he's unemployed, so hasn't filed any taxes. Do have a sponsor though. So I was calling to find out, will that pose any kind of issue for us?
Well, your case will not proceed unless and until he files tax returns. It's one of the ways they make sure people file their tax returns is
Mm-hmm.
they insist, even if there's a co-sponsor, they still have to get 3 years of tax returns.
Okay. So do we have to see an accountant for that since he has not been employed? So
So I'm not an accountant, so I don't know, but I
Okay.
think that if he's had no income for the last 3 years, then
Mhm.
I'm just guessing it shouldn't be too hard to fill out a tax return. But this is why I became a lawyer and not an accountant, because I'm not good at math.
Right. Okay. All right. That's my only question.
Oh, thanks, Lee.
All right.
Good
Thank
luck.
you.
Yeah, for sure. Muhammad is up next. Hello, Muhammad.
Good afternoon, Jim. How are you doing? Perfect. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound great.
Thank
But
you.
I'm hearing myself twice. So can you turn off the audio on the YouTube or whatever it is you're watching on, because there's a drag?
No, I'm not having any audio on YouTube.
All right. Well, you go ahead and I'll be quiet.
Okay, thank you. I've visited USA a couple of times on B1, B2 visas since 2001. I've recently arrived in US on 31st of the last month, and I'm representing a construction company in Pakistan, which is a big construction company. And I see a lot of scope in US market, the construction market especially. So I want to set up a business office in US, basically for two reasons. Number one is to market Pakistani property to the Pakistani community living in the USA, and to identify some new projects, construction projects in USA where we can use our expertise and build some single story or multi-story building. So what is the right way to go about it?
So how much have you been here, and how much money do you have to invest, that kind of stuff?
Well, it all depends, because we want to do it the right way to start with. Shall we make a company in USA first and then bring in the investment? Or
Let me interject, Jim here. They have 10 million square
foot of
feet of space in Pakistan, and they also want to spend millions of dollars, here to erect some multi-story complexes, and projects here. So we were thinking, that if we could have some kind of a business establishment through immigration, if we have to bring in, some qualified workers from Pakistan and bring them here, who would also help us, to fulfill the needs of our projects, and also employ the local contractors, that we have already been doing, as you know, that I have been in construction for a while. We and also, in that regard, an environment, to create between Pakistan and US here in St. Louis, Missouri.
So,
And
is the goal in getting an immigration benefit for Muhammad as the business owner, or is it just? Hold on, I need to mute you while I'm talking. Can you hear me when I mute you, because we hear it all over again? So I have to mute you when I talk. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. So is the goal to get Muhammad a immigration benefit, or is it just to start a business that Saqib would run here and Muhammad would be able to go back and forth? What is, from an immigration standpoint, what are you trying to do?
The immigration standpoint is, that we, whenever we need workers, it's not about him to getting him the immigration because he is well set in Pakistan. The company is set in Pakistan. They don't have to come. They can only come and visit. But we, for example, if we need, some workers from Pakistan, we can bring them here.
seasonal.
on seasonal basis, on ad hoc basis, so we can bring them here for a few months and then send them back,
Need basis.
I understand now. Okay, yeah, that's something. I mean, I would probably refer that work out. I have a friend who does those are H2As and H2B visas. We don't really handle those we've only done it once, so it's not something that we've done a lot of. Sakib, Andrew's done a little bit of that, but I would probably just refer you to my friend Jessie. That's all she does is H2Bs.
Okay. So yeah, I will shoot you an email, so send the link, so I can talk to Jesse.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much, man. Good to see you. You look very good.
Thanks, Sakib. So do you. Bye, guys. All right. What do you say, D?
Hey, Jim, how are you? Good evening.
I'm fantastic.
I got a question. Yesterday, I received a letter from Immigration's RFE asking for. I'm from South Africa originally. My wife is a U.S. citizen. So they asked for for my birth certificate, a long form birth certificate from my home country. But the problem I have with that is I tried getting it today, but the South African embassy in America says that it would take up to 6 months, and they've only given me until November. And they said the other forms of identification I can use is documents that I can't receive because my mom passed away when I was very young, and my grandmother took care of me. Yeah. So the other forms of documentation I have with me is my South African identity document book. I do have a birth certificate, but it doesn't have my parents' name on it. And then I also have my grade 12 certificate, high school certificate. So I didn't know if I could submit those.
What are you applying for?
I'm sorry, for I-485. So that's the only document that they say is missing from my paperwork.
So
my
we've actually seen this movie before with South African birth certificates. And typically what we've seen probably 3 or 4 times is that people get in a big hurry and they figure I can just submit the short form and
that's the one.
Deal with the long form later. What I would do is I would do everything I can to prove who I am by the deadline and file a response. Today I would order the long form birth certificate because I believe most likely this application that you have on file right now is going to be denied and you're going to need it to refile. So when we get contacted by people from South Africa and they have the short form birth certificate, we usually tell them you need to get the long one before we file because we know it takes a long time. Also, 6 months sounds like bullshit to me. I would hire a lawyer in South Africa who's connected to go get it for you faster than 6 months.
My uncle works at the department, so he said he can get it for me within 3 months.
Yeah, so
which
I
is still past the
try
date.
I know, but I would do everything I can and then tell them everything that you did and file that the week before the deadline and ask for another. I mean, I tell Uncle start working on it today, but I would tell them, hey, look, I'm this close to getting it. I expect it on December 10th. Can you please keep the case open till then? They may or may not, but either way, you're going to need it. So get it.
Yeah, because I spoke to somebody at the USCIS today, one of the people on the phone, and they said it might suffice the documents that I have. So I don't know. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
But it might buy you time, which is what you need right now.
Okay. Yeah, because the only ones I have is my short form birth certificate, like I said, my identity document book from home, my passport, and my high school results. But none of them have my mother's details on it because my mom barely raised me. It was my grandmother mostly. Yeah.
All right, D.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, Jim. Enjoy.
Good luck, man. Yep.
Thank you. Bye.
You got it. All right. Let's say hi to Abdu. Hey, Abdu.
Hey, Jim. Thank you for having me. Quick questions. I got my green card through an asylum. And my question, during the naturalization after 1 year, are they going to ask me about the asylum case or not?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Especially if you got your green card without an interview.
Yes.
If you got your green card without an interview, that means that. So, Abdu, in the old days, asylum office was completely separate from USCIS. So that means that when someone applied for citizenship, that was like USCIS's only chance to ask them questions. So in fact, now that I think about it, I just read a denial of an N-400 from the other day where they were asking, the basis of the denial was things that were in the asylum case.
Okay, got you. The second question, does the 3 months rule gonna apply on the asylum case when I apply for the naturalization?
There's a 3-month rule. What's a 3-month rule?
You know, I could apply 3 months before the 5 years.
I generally tell people don't do that.
No, okay.
I just think it causes confusion. It gives them reason. If you can wait, I would just wait. You don't have to wait, but I think it's better to just wait the full 5 or 3 years. For you, 5.
Got you. Okay. The other question, I have a friend of mine. He is actually my friend or my relative. He applied online for the asylum. Does he gonna get the receipt notice by mail or not?
Applied for asylum?
Yes.
Yeah, the receipt notice comes by mail.
He applied online.
Yeah, the receipt will come by mail.
Okay. The other question, what are the benefits he's qualifying? You know, like the housing, food stamp, learning, medical. What he's applied for?
I have no idea.
Yeah, okay. He doesn't have any benefits right now?
I didn't say that. I don't know. He needs to talk to like a social service agency. I don't deal with that stuff, so I don't know.
Got you. Okay, that's all. Thank you so much, Jim.
Bye, Abdul. See you, buddy.
See you.
All right. I think we have time for 1 or 2 more. Let's see what Seda has to say. Seda, are you with us?
Hi, can I be an off camera?
You already are.
Okay, thank you. So I got my green card last month, and I'm a student, normally international students, and I applied to my school to being a residency. By the way, I live in California, and they denied me. They denied my residency. They said I have to wait 1 year, and I checked all California schools rules. They say you have to wait 1 year, and it seems unfair.
Yeah, but that's because they're greedy and they want your money, and they know that international students pay the most.
Yeah, I know that, but they granted me to be a resident, but schools not accept this. Is there anything I can do, or there's nothing I can do?
So, like my son is a senior at San Diego State University. I think they applied the same rule for him, although I think he's an out-of-town student for all 4 years. I don't think there's anything you can do. No. I mean, what are you're gonna sue them? I don't think a lawsuit would be very helpful.
Yeah, I don't think so, because I searched the UCs, Cal States, all of them says you have to hold your residency for a year.
And when you say residency, you mean lawful permanent residency or California residency?
Permanent residence.
Yeah, if that's their rule, that's their rule.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's
so
it.
maybe take a year off, although I guess you can't. Well, actually you can. Now they have your green card, you could.
Yeah, that's the problem, because school says, oh, in the system you're under F1, but I am not dependent on F1 anymore. So it's a little bit getting complicated.
Yeah. All right, Sadie, good luck.
School.
Sorry about that. See ya. All right, I think we have time for one more. Akil is here. What do you say, Akil?
Hi. Yeah. So I just had a quick question. So my dad's currently on an L1A visa in the States, and I'm currently in Canada. I was planning to go to the States on a J1 visa for an internship, but my dad's company is planning to apply for an EB1C green card. So I was wondering, would they deny my J1 based on immigrant intent because of my dad's EB1C pending adjustment of status? Or
how old are you?
18. So I'm be listed as a derivative.
I would say yes.
So I wouldn't be able to get the J1 with the pending.
And if they're that close to getting working on the green card, I would just stick with that and forget about the J1.
But I'm currently outside the country, so I wouldn't be able to enter the US on the J1. I would stay.
Well, I mean, what you could do, you got to be careful because you don't want to get in trouble. But in theory, you could file for the J1, get the J1, go to the United States, and then have dad start his thing.
Got it. That makes sense. Okay. Thanks so much. I had a quick question on the CSPA. Is the date cutoff now the dates of filing now? Is that permanent for council processing too with the new change? Or is it still final action dates on the Child Status Protection Act cutoff? Since my dad's born in India, because the EB1 seat, even the EB1 category is now retrogressed. Just wondering, it's the final action or the dates of filing the cutoff is based on?
I don't know, man.
No. Okay. Thanks, though. Thank you.
See ya. Bye, Keel. All right, everybody. I should know that. You would think an immigration lawyer would know these things, but this immigration lawyer does not. CSPA makes my head hurt. And when you're talking about CSPA on top of employment-based L1 green card case, there's a lot of moving parts. I can't give an answer like that right away. All right. Fun being with everybody. I missed all of you. It's good to be back. We had a lot of people watching, a lot of great comments. If you are watching on the replay and you feel like letting us know your thoughts on what percentage of marriages are legit, we would love to hear from you. We'll be back tomorrow, episode number 411 at our usual time, 4 p.m. If you want to get in the waiting room first, text the word show to 314-470-3300. We'll be back tomorrow. And if you have a minute, it would mean a lot to me if you could just leave us a quick 5-star review, reviewhackinglaw.com. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, Uli.